Okay. So I know you're not drinking, but I wasn't going to. But I found this really cool looking bottle, so I had to try
Oh
it.
boy.
Usually I go kind of cheap on like, not paying too much for the wine, but this one was a little more expensive than I usually drink. But this is kind of like
Cool as
cool.
that octopus.
Yeah, it almost looked like the rum. What's it called? Kraken rum, but it's wine. So
Mm,
it's Octo Octopoda.
Octopoda.
It's like Octopoda. It's the name of it. So I have to try it.
Well, because I'm doing coffee right now. I got too much medication going on to be doing anything else.
You
So,
should do some like I don't know. Do you drink tea or something like some different
mm,
drink?
yeah,
Not
I could do tea in the afternoon for sure.
yeah.
I could try some different teas. Yeah, I could even get some like cold teas. I'll get some regular drinks.
Yeah.
I'll do some research before next one, so I'm not just drinking coffee every time. Also, one of the medications I'm on is it increases your appetite. It's a steroid. It's like
Oh really?
to offset the other stuff, but I'm already feeling it today. I was like, I need to like. I stopped snacking a long time ago. Now I'm like today. I was like, oh, I need something to eat. I need something to eat. It's like it's a actual thing. Like, and it's been the one day of this medication, and I'm wired because it's like antibiotic plus all this stuff. It's crazy.
It's like a cocktail of everything.
Yeah.
Cheers, mix, click, and code with Boozy browsing, sipping and fixing the web one cocktail at a time.
All right. So
Cheers. I have my Endeavor mug at least.
I don't have that anymore.
Hmm. I'll have to get new ones with the actual fonts and everything. Who wants to kick off the topic?
I
I have
like
it
it.
up.
Yeah.
Oh, you have the slides, right?
It's actually made it pretty cute. As always. It's like you have to put some cuteness to it when you're gonna be drinking, I feel like.
Bobbleheads.
Oops, one. Now what? I like how they put the craft beer.
I like crap beer, but that's just my brain.
Well, we wanted to introduce open source because like we use this a lot and we say that pretty casually, assuming that people understand, but we always
Right.
overlook that we're very technical. And then people who we're talking to might not be very technical and have no idea what open source is. So wanted to introduce or explain what it is and why people use open source and how to effectively use it and kind of leading to especially with the outdoor industry, outdoor brands, um, what specific benefits it gives them as well.
Well, I would say also more broadly, if people don't know what open source is, I mean, this is just CMS. I would say almost 100% of any web page you look at has open source technologies on it.
Right.
Like it may not be fully powered by it. It might be a Microsoft thing or an Adobe, but JavaScript libraries, CSS, everything is built by open source technologies. So
Yeah.
open source meaning it's shared and its ability to be edited, managed, contributed to, viewed, everything by anyone at any given time. Not really contributed. There's a flow for that, but at least accessed and read and contributed and created and modified and all those things are things that open source versus closed source where only Adobe has its AEM products, even though it uses a bunch of open source stuff underneath there too.
Yeah.
Um, so
And it's not just the products. And then it's also, if you think about AI, it's also hugely open source too.
yeah,
So it's technology. There's so many different tech places that you don't realize that open source has been used. And it's great because it's nobody owns it, but you're constantly contributing it to make it better. So that's the beauty behind open source.
yeah. This used to be a huge argument around. Well, if nobody owns it, then who do I call to come? Like from enterprise companies that I used to work with, like the CIOs, basically. It wasn't really CTOs; it was usually the CIOs. Would be
Right.
like, who? Well, yeah, but who am I going to call? I need to pay someone so that they are available for me to get something fixed. I'm like, well, that's only one person, right? Like, why wouldn't you want it to be thousands of people that are going to respond to a fix, like a security fix or a serious bug? Like, why would you want one company that has a roadmap and, their own priorities to
Mhm.
fix it? I mean, SaaS came later, like, that are using open source technology. A lot of the SaaS stuff uses, again, open source CMS, open source CRMs, and everything else on top of what they're kind of putting a wrapper around. So there's one point there, but it's still the actual underlying technology is
Yeah.
technically owned by the collective, the
Yeah.
foundation of some kind.
This is the definition that LLM, not one of the LLMs, I think it's Cloud,
Claude.
has put. What open source means is that it's a source code is publicly available. Anyone can use it, inspect it, modify it, and contribute improvements back. It's not free as in cheap. It's free as in freedom.
You got that wrong. It's free. It's free as in puppies. This was the old saying, and much more relatable, right? You
Yeah.
can get a puppy for free, but you then have to raise it, care for it, and that's the. I mean,
Yes.
it is not free long term, but
Yeah.
no software is free long term. You're either paying up front and you pay a lot up front, or you pay as you use it. But the benefit there is you're paying for the things you actually are using and contributing back the things that you can actually build off of.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that free in later
Mm-hmm.
slides and or not slides in our conversation, because we want to explain what it means, the free, because like there's a lot of other things around it. But one of the examples of open source technology in CMS is WordPress, which we're very familiar with. We use a lot. At one
Yeah,
point that we
sure.
were just doing WordPress as well. And yeah, 43.6% of web sites are on WordPress, which is huge.
Yeah, and it's not really declining. And people like to say, "Oh, it's over." People are moving off of WordPress, but the
Yeah.
reality is people continue to build bigger things on top of it.
Yeah. And even in e-commerce, WooCommerce is also like open source, and 39%. That's huge
Yeah,
for the non-paid version. I actually didn't look at the slides, so we'll see.
I didn't either. So obviously,
All right. So open source is the public trail system of the internet. It's just making the cute reference to the outdoor brands. Um,
this is the
and
cleanest, most finished trail I've ever seen. The pink
yeah,
and green
yeah, free as a freedom.
neon lit up trails.
Yeah, and it kind of goes like a little weird, but yeah, community built. So yeah, that's a powerful portion of it. Communities building it, not just like one company's building it. You have a lot of different talents are contributing to it to make it better.
Yeah, it got the free as in freedom correct. Like that's a good way of putting free. It is again, you are your corporation yourself. You're pulling it down. You can modify it. Most licenses you can modify any way you want,
Mm.
and use it in a production app that is commercial. Typically, again, there are some out there that don't allow you to use it in commercial, but that's not really the case for the most
Yep,
part anymore.
yep, and you own it.
Right.
To build it. And then it's like, I think that I was reading something about an analogy on that. So as if you're using the closed source products, you're pretty much borrowing it because you're dependent on them. Like, or
Uh-huh.
if you're on like a SaaS somewhere that you're depending on their updates, their upgrades, you're just borrowing it. You're not owning it. Whereas if you use this and you built upon it, you own your technology or your products pretty much.
Yeah,
And
I would say most commercial, like non-open source, especially these days, you're not just borrowing, you're renting and leasing, and as soon as you stop paying, you're done. You're out. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Like you could potentially borrow some of them that you used to be able to install on your local hardware, like on instances that you're paying for, and then you're losing out on, like, you bought it and get no updates, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So exactly what you're saying. So you're
Yeah.
renting it versus owning it. So that's the difference when you are thinking about it with Shopify, like it's not open source. And whereas WooCommerce is owning it in terms of e-commerce.
Yeah. How to- not to diss on Shopify or any SaaS, but the reality is if you're going to equate that to renting, it's like you're renting, and this is going to get weird, but your landlord has like cameras because they're monitoring and looking at all of your transactions, all of your process, and the good part is they're trying to fix and iterate and build on top of that.
Mm.
But they're also, if you think about that, you will never build something like create something on Shopify that you could then take somewhere else and be ahead of the market. Like
Mhm.
you are always contributing if you're doing something advanced somehow on Shopify, something, right? It will be utilized by Shopify to then grow their ecosystem
Mhm.
faster and bigger and better than you could. And your competitors will have access to it, right?
Yeah. So since you're owning it, I just wanted to do a quick benefits and risks. Is that benefits why you want to own your own thing? It's so there's no vendor lock-in. You don't have to
Right.
stick with one vendor like Shopify or something that you might not be agreeing with, or you might not like the schedules or product features that they have or lack of. You own your own store, your data, your customer relationships, massive ecosystem of developers, plugins, integrations, the total customization to fit your own brand. So it's like a fully customizable to your own need and community driven innovation that moves faster than any single company, which we mentioned a little earlier. But because of that, because it's open source, it's free and you can do whatever you want, there's a risks that comes with it. So like no single company is responsible. Just going off to what Matt was saying in the beginning, I was like, who do I talk to use this? There's no such thing. If something breaks, there's no single point of contact that you can go back and ask for it. And depending on who you hire, plugins or themes or whatever, code quality might vary widely. And also security, because of that, security depends on entirely on how you implement this and maintained. So this freedom to customize is also the freedom to make a mess. That's a really
Mm-hmm.
good point.
I feel like
And
this is the point where you spill your drink
look, I hope I didn't
for the
add that.
outtakes.
So, like I mentioned before, AI also it's part of AI, the open source. This was
Well,
good. Oh, yeah.
OpenAI was supposed to be open source,
Eh.
hence the open part, I think.
I remember the conversation. I think it was didn't Elon Musk has had a fight with or like this huge disagreement with Sam Altman.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details of this. I mean, wasn't even all that long ago at this point. It's weird,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be an open source thing, and then they decided for the better of humanity,
Yeah.
they would close it. I'm sure it's totally for our
Yeah.
benefit.
Yeah. I remember because that's how we came up with Grok X AI
Mhm.
stuff
Oh,
because he
right,
didn't agree with that.
right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like the whole foundation of open source, it's open source foundation, and there's also open source portion to it, like
Yeah,
Llama or whatever Llama, and all those things are still open source. And and like this whole open claw, which is a crazy up and comer. What was that? It was like a 6 million downloads in 72 hours or something like that.
hmm
So that's part of that too. And then since it's evolving so fast, ever since OpenClaw was introduced, I noticed a bunch of different LLMs adopt this agent mode to parody that.
yeah.
So,
Well, before before OpenClaw, there was this whole concept of sub agents and spinning up sub agents, but I don't feel like any of them like did it well. It was all SaaS companies that had created this ability to like create your own company. All of your finance and all your things would be sub agents. And I guess that might have caught on somewhere, but I could never like really get it to work
mhm,
enough versus OpenClaw where it's it seems to communicate, and there's been advances on LLMs where we got Opus 4.5 and now 4.6 where it actually can almost communicate as a not a human, but like it can communicate and understand the language a lot better, I feel like,
Yeah.
which allows it to then take my, not really prompts, but my chat and then do its thing as far as spinning up other agents and managing other agents.
Yeah. And I stay corrected. OpenClaw was actually downloaded 60,000 plus GitHub stars in 72 hours when
Okay.
it came out. And it's
Which is
so
it is
recent.
huge for, I mean, this is an open source thing that
Yeah.
no one really knew how to use at that first couple of hours. Um,
Mhm.
and it was severely security flawed by design.
Mhm.
Like the whole design is to open up your whatever machine that you install it on, essentially, and then take the processing power of that and then connect to all your things. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So what does it mean for, I mean, outdoor brands and then other brands is that since it's open source and you can customize it however you want, that gives you more flexibility to add different things, like even like a AI ready stuff or
right,
whatever things. More flexible than the ones that are like closed source or owned by some company because they're not gonna let you tag on a widget or plugin on top of your AM powered or Shopify powered platforms.
right, yeah. If you're getting like if your business model is to have products with SKUs with like multiple SKUs and stuff like that, and there's a checkout path that already exists. Yeah,
Mhm.
Shopify works. All these other commerce platforms, even in the WooCommerce, works perfectly fine for all of that, and you're never going to really grow outside of that.
Yeah.
But if you're in an industry like like the outdoor industry, where depending on like product fitment or like if there's visuals and like workflows that you want to pass the customer through, um, that potentially needs to be built. And there's ways of customizing Shopify, but it's going to be limited. And do you want to pass them over to this other app? Like, and then back with like data connections, maybe? Or do you want to just build it all internal, like all on one system, or
Right.
have a team build it all on one system that can then be managed together? And then again, similar to we talked about before, where do you want to own that, or do you want to build it for Shopify to give to like their licensing fees, or they basically can take it? Um,
Right.
they're, I mean, not I don't know about legally on some of the things, but they have the camera set up. They're monitoring all the things. They have access to all the code, and if they like what they're seeing, why wouldn't they spin it up, or other partners pull it
Yeah.
and build it for someone else?
Yeah. And this is one of the things, like, it's headless was a big thing for a while and then it just died out. But headless architecture is also
Mm,
part of something benefits that open source can provide because if you want the hybrid, then you want some portion of it, and you can use headless approach to get open source technology to build something customized and feeding into the closed source like Shopify or something like that. So, and also open source lets brand decouple front end experience from back end engine because it's so flexible. They're like, you're free to
right.
do whatever you want. I think this is I actually try to make it super simple. So I really went
Nice
simple.
and short.
But we do have more things that I wanted to cover was like it's a bigger question on since you can customize whatever you want, it's very, very important that you partner with the right people who can actually handle it and know what they're doing. That's one of the things that I wanted to cover as well.
Yeah.
Is that if you use WordPress before and then just didn't know anything and just put bunch of different plugins to do different things, you probably understand what I'm talking about because you that's gonna be making your site convoluted performance wise, security wise, and you probably don't know what you're doing. There's so many different things with the same functionalities. Like it's all Frankenstein website that you're building.
Yeah.
So
But Miki,
yeah.
we're not building things anymore. We're just vibe coding all the time, and we're all coders. So we just tell our vibe code app to
Mhm.
build it. So why do I need to know any of this?
Yeah. Yeah. So vibe coding, I think did you say it or someone else said it? Vibe coding is not really coding.
Well, I've said it because I see I just vibe coded my thing or whatever. I spent an afternoon and vibe coded my first production app. It's like, or coded, like, it's not, you didn't code anything. You prompted for a lot
Yeah.
of these tools. Like, yeah, I wouldn't even say that I'm coding anymore the majority of my day. Um, because I'm not vibe coding, but I'm utilizing, other systems that are using AI to build out and correct code and monitor code and make
There's a different
fixes.
term for it. I was just that's where I was
Yeah.
getting at. So there's a different term for it. It's not vibe coding, it's a, agentic software engineering.
Agentic software engineering. Yeah.
That's what I read. I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense in a way because it's using agents to do stuff,
Yeah.
and you're specifically giving directions on what needs to be done as a software engineer, but it's not doing vibe coding.
Yeah.
It's not prototyping for you. It's building the task based on what you told them, what you told these agents to do."
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not telling it, here's my pseudo idea,
Mhm.
do everything for me, and then, make it look like you actually built it, basically, is what goes on for most. I mean, there's so many production apps, quote unquote apps out there that I've seen links to. It's like, and not just, I mean, the security thing was one thing at one point. It's like, I'm over that. It's, yeah, they're so insecure. It's not even funny. But the feature set, like, it's not even fully functional most of the
Right.
time. It's like, yeah, it looks like it is, but it's all mock data, mock functionality, not
Mhm.
all, but like, because when I was playing with these tools, like, I would look at it and like, well, there's no code for this. And I would ask it. I was like, oh yeah, we just mocked that up. Do you want me to work on that now? Like, well, I asked you to. Like, it just got, like, it was cool at first and it was fun at first. And obviously a lot of people have moved on to the more complicated ones. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you're utilizing some of the ones that came out initially, and they've progressed, but you actually need to you still need to test your app. Like,
Yeah.
if you think you're mocking up a production level app with some of these tools, and I'm not saying it to be degrading or whatever, it's just they don't actually work unless you test it and then, um, give it the feedback. But if you're not building it from scratch with a actual requirements document,
Yeah.
it's
But
kind
the
of
more
funny.
more dangerous thing is that if you don't know what to test, you're not gonna test it and ship it out.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, there's still, like we were talking about, there's
Yep.
over supervision, oversight, all these is because, like, some of the people who are not technical doesn't necessarily know what to test. Or
Mhm.
yeah, they're just gonna ship it without thinking that, like, oh, maybe it's fine. But there's a lot of other things in the background that I just had this conversation today. I was talking to someone. He's not super technical, but he understands because he's been working with a lot of products or product building or like whatever. And he was asking me about this whole vibe coding. And then well, we're initially talking about how entrepreneurs and business people or whoever were successful, so to speak, the people just don't see all the efforts leading into it, but see the end results. And the analogy was that, like, it's the same thing. That you might not think that you're just looking at the one specific facade of the site, but there's a lot of things in the background that
Yeah.
you need to be aware of to make sure that those are secure, performing, and didn't miss something. And the workflow wise, all those are in the backbone of it. But you don't know this, and thinking that you just push out the site doesn't mean that all those are ready for you, production ready.
Yep, absolutely. I did wanna loop around, like, the agentic, software engineering idea. Like, it's the same thing around product managers, product owners, digital marketers. Like, if you know your, like, industry, like, your expertise, right? And you know what the expected outputs are, then vibe coding, but, utilizing these tools can work because, like you mentioned it, you know what to test, right? You know the expected output for these things. So as a software engineer, I know what it's supposed to be building. I know what it's supposed to be integrating with. As a product owner, I know what the general product is. But if you're building something with no real knowledge around the tools, like, you're not an expert level at these things, then you're just assuming that it's going to be good, and it's basing its build on the things that it's seeing out in the world.
Mhm.
That there's no real monitoring of, like, how successful those tools are a lot of times.
Yeah. And then, yeah, just piggyback on that because, like, your product owner or whoever has experience about the actual life cycle of product build or website build or whatever build that you had, then
Mhm.
you know what question to ask. So like even if you don't have a full technology background, even if you leverage LLMs to start playing with things, you know what questions to ask to make sure that this is
Right.
viable. But if you don't have that knowledge, then you're playing a pretty dangerous game because you don't know what you're putting out and
Right.
what it's lacking of because
Right.
you don't know what to ask.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like discouraging not to play with anything like that, but it's more like be careful with that and also look for the experts who have done this and know what to look at. If you're really serious about deploying it as a production level, you probably
Mhm.
need to bring in the experts to oversee as if you have a checks and balance in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Well then, you sober, Matt.
Sober. Yeah. Right. Well, it's a different effect with all this medication. Like I can't focus worth crap. So
Oh, so you're actually like it's actually even worse.
yes, it is for
It's
me. Like I can't. Like I have a hard time focusing sometimes, but whatever this stuff is like uh, my
just kinda
mind.
like making it worse.
My mind's racing right now because I had to do. I don't want to get too
But isn't
level
that gonna go
details.
like through like one of those like a beautiful mind and you're gonna do crazy
I
coding
don't
and
think it's that because I'm not that smart. So it's not. I think it's just like it's going to be spinning up with ideas that are nonsense. I think that's most
but
likely.
it sounds like you're getting creative with all these ideas that you're throwing at me this
Those were
week.
before the medication. That was over the
Oh, okay.
weekend.
That's usually my job, throwing
Mm,
all these weird things at you, but I was like,
right.
"Oh."
Yeah.
Anyways, alright, on that note,